Okay, so I rebuilt the basic version of the base. Bunker feed example, or 1 bunker foot. Little refinery. The general layout of everything else, but we're just gonna wipe the whole base. Also on Builder Sanctuary, in case you don't know the build server. Cause the 3-4 minute video that I put in before, I'm just gonna swap the default back to stone. The 3-4 minute video I put in before didn't really explain everything. For the sake of being as clear as possible, we are going to build the entire thing from scratch. I did mess up the TC placement. Sometimes I place it too far. I'm kind of lazy with the placement on the space, and therefore it has made me bad at placing anything and everything since. Storage is decent. Yeah, usually I'd recommend expanding as soon as I get to tier 2, but me personally, I have been pretty lazy and have kept the base at this size for a little bit too long, and then like the loot to profit ratio for the raids gets a little ridiculous. It's gonna be helpful. Alright, back down, wonderful, and this first stage of the base, the starter, I don't think anybody's raiding your wood triangle, but even then you still have a metal door. Alright, so stage 2. Now, most of the time I'll do the entire finished stage 2, but I'm just going to show it to you. I'm just going to tell you what the points to pause are in the middle of building this. But if you just want to get a second floor entrance or just a vending machine to sell stuff as fast as possible, get that up. So you have an airlock afterward. Soft side this, wonderful. And the kind of scary part, just make sure you have exterior bags in the area when you do this. But I'll give myself 2 bags, because you can't just soft lock yourself out of the base. If you like, somebody just kills you at the perfect time, it just ruins your wipe, or it just makes wipe really annoying. Yeah, and then you can just take the vending machine out, run back in. You have a small box as a jump up. It is kind of annoying to have a placement for your bag, so you can like replace this, and then you have the very basic quick expansion to the second floor. However, if I do recommend, if you're lazy, it's not that much stone, it's like 2 nodes, to just get at least this going, because it's gonna be awkward for someone to camp to jump up, and then you can like slap a bag down here, and if it's early into wipe, but you can get made 2 of them by accident. You can have that as an entrance, and then if you have to research stuff, you can slap that in there. If you get lucky with battery or something, you can slap that and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, in the other video, you'll see the other permanent version. It's just like I did the placement wrong. Yeah, but just like a locker in a window here. But that's like, I guess it's like some finishing touches type of thing. Yeah, it's like some finishing touches. But you can do that later. Most of the time, you put temporary stuff like research tables, benches, and shit. But this is still not the proper second tier of this. You have a little bit of an elevated entrance. I'm building this in like kind of the messiest way, purely because sometimes the wipe, you just with the bare minimum, because nobody's standing to jump and soft side this whole time. Like, well, they are, but like if you leave it overnight, not so much when you're still on the server and people are actively trying to get a start. Nobody's detouring that hard to fuck with you, unless you're like just that guy and you've managed to piss off everybody in your area. But the jump up on this can be like literally anything. Again, another place to put a research table, and also speaking of places to put other things, in the entrance for the door. I've never gotten anything stolen out of these furnaces. Like, it's pretty rare to like die with this open. But yeah, more furnace space, which actually allows you to, like, most of the time, obviously these are the furnaces that go in there, and then you're like, oh yeah, I can put my bag on the second floor, and you can just sneak more storage into this. There's a way to place 3 in this, but you can figure it out. That's your homework today, okay? You have like the lockers and other stuff, and that is the proper expansion to the second stage of this. Alright. Most of the time I'll keep this so it's covered so people don't really think to camp or like boost onto your roof. So I do recommend putting these half walls. Alright, but at this point you hopefully have a garage door, and now your entrance actually makes sense. Speaking of which, picking up the bag, small kind of convenience of this is having this here and having a little bit of drop, like a little drop box. And also this should be a garage door, and obviously this is the part where you start upgrading these to like metal and high qual for the core of the base, but not a particular rush. And now for the, I guess the thing that makes this like an intermediate base to build, not exactly beginner friendly, is the wide gap pods that I need to switch the twig to actually do the lineup for. You'll see what I mean in a second. Look at this and this. And then I'll just get like, it doesn't have to be a star, it can be like any gun or your crosshair on the your monitor, or like crosshair X or whatever that program is, and see like this V shape here. It's kind of like below that and like a little bit more to like the left one, but only slightly. And without moving your mouse, you hit 1, you get triangle foundation, boom boom. I think I expanded it from the entrance, so like if the square was here, you expand on that same side. It's debatable. Sometimes you want to put this as the high up foundation, that way you like walk in from this triangle and like this one's kind of protected, or you just want your entrance here and you can jump straight in. Me personally, I prefer the higher up foundation. And to see if you got the placement right, you place a triangle, you get that's slightly off, but sometimes you can cheese it and be kind of lazy if the other side got its placement right. Yeah, and you can just do that instead. Does depend on the server. Sometimes you have to get really specific placement to get it to work, as you can see in the video where I played this in a normal wipe. If you want to see how that went, it is linked. Below. So like that's the usual common error with this kind of thing. And I do recommend actually upgrading the thing too. The triangle isn't super necessary, but as time goes on, it just makes the placement of these two way easier. Because the stability does get kind of weird, where like technically you have enough stability to place it, but it forgets what its socket it's in when the server restarts, and these triangles randomly explode and break, which is not fun. I do not like it. It is not enjoyable. And then we're just gonna repeat this times 4. The nice thing is, whenever you make this, you have plenty of points to practice and see. I'm just kind of hoping I'm gonna get a few errors on this to show you how to correct for it, because this base does have some accidents that you can happen and get annoying. I think I moved my mouse slightly during that. Alright. Yeah. The placement isn't unforgiving, but it is not foolproof, and that's the annoying part. And obviously, if you have a risen foundation here, you have a risen foundation on the same side. And see, this one went smoothly. The thing is, the only reason I'm like including this of repeating every single one is for just continuity's sake. Because there will be a guy upset that I didn't show every single one. You're like, terrible design, terrible video, you didn't explain it, but like, yeah, you know. I guess it just shows that the method works. Because Because honestly, you can just skip to. Well, I'm gonna edit this out, but you literally like this is the only like crazy technique you need to know after this, right? Like you can just skip to whatever like this next top bit. You can customize however you want. Okay, this is like the pod complete, but I wouldn't consider this completed stage. Like not even remotely. Alright, so making sure all of this is closed up is very important. You can double window here. There's a lot of ways to customize this floor. I'd say use your own imagination. Give it a second. Yeah. I'd say use your own imagination for this, because there's ways to set these up instead of peaks, having them as like individual rooms to like store stuff or like split loot up, and it's genuinely up to you. There's so many ways. Like I think this is just a versatile platform for base overall. And our upstairs loot and utility room. Most of the time I put a tier 3, some like small amount of storage for usually boom, because people don't raid upwards to look for stuff. And people rarely go top down on this. They usually try to hit the side with the vending machine, like break through the shell and then rocket this side. So usually you metal that up. I'd recommend moving TC elsewhere as well. And this being your upstairs entrance with double door and the like. Make sure to put the wall frames in here so people can't walk in between these relatively big gaps inside of the base. Pretty critical. The doors are just mostly for cover. This bit you can put e-furnace and everything else. If you want to see a decorated version of the finished base, you can go to this trailer linked here. I'm just showing you the absolute bare bones necessities. How to expand this. And there. You have your wall frames, and now for the finishing touches of the base. I'd recommend before putting the roof triangles down that you get these ones up and your wall frames to expand later, because sometimes the triangle foundation, the triangle frames for the roof get annoying in place, which honestly, like getting this up just makes them easier to place in general, because placing them from below is kind of a pain. Well, these ones not so much. And this is the basic version of it, and make sure to put a half wall so you don't mess up the placement of your vending machine roof bunker. Yep, you can't really reach or expand into yeah, you can't really reach into that. You have your thing here, perfect, and to test if it works. Great, and this is like the crown jewel of the base. You can hide loot in here, you can do all your commerce stuff, it's drone accessible, and yeah, that is the basic bare bones version of this base, all of its expansions, and the like. Wonderful. I'll try to edit this down into maybe like 10 minutes, because you don't really need to see me build all of the pods. And it's a little bonus for making it to the end. And then, to be honest, you don't really have to have symmetrical bunkers across all of the feet of the base, but yeah, little El classic bunker. I'm not trying to place it super correctly, but yeah, a little classic bunker at the foot, the base. But again, not entirely needed. You can fill this with prison walls, but they are a bit expensive. I think just for the aesthetic of the base, and most of the point of this base is just straight up aesthetic. Like, it's not perfect, it's not the best for its cost, and like obviously you have small stuff like the refinery. Oh, okay, I'm decorating too much, but yeah.